Well, artificial intelligence is shaking up the boardroom. That's according to an article from Axios. As AI technology becomes more accessible, businesses are now looking for guidance on implementation and managing these new services. But how can companies manage a technology that is so new and constantly evolving? Joining me now here in Studio 57 for more on this is Heath. He is a global tech correspondent for Axios. He's also the co-author of the Axios AI Plus newsletter. Thanks for joining us again.
Good morning.
So, we mentioned that the Biden administration kind of commenting on AI, and the president signed an executive order trying to get ahead of generative AI, and encouraging the government to look at guidelines and to ensure that, that there are biases within the software and all that sort of stuff. But what you wrote about is that CEOs need to take a page out of what the president's doing and get ahead of this technology. When we say CEOs may be threatened by AI, it's not because AI is going to take their job.
Well, that's actually not clear, Anne-Marie. It's possible. It's possible.
Okay.
So here we go. Think about globalization over the last 40 years. It was blue-collar workers that were in the hot seat there. The different thing about AI is it's office workers who might be most affected. And that starts at the top, including with the CEO, because this is going to transform really all of our jobs.
Wow.
And I'm an optimist. I'm not saying the jobs are going, but the way we do our jobs, how AI might help us do some of the tasks, is really going to affect nearly everybody. And something that is that broad, if you're not taking charge of that as the CEO, if you don't understand what's happening in your own organization or how to get ahead of your competitors, that's when the board is going to come for you. And you won't be able to blame somebody else this time. You can't say, oh, it's the tech team over there in the windowless room. No, it's actually your fault if you don't get ahead of it this time.
Yeah, because what often CEOs do is they delegate, right? We need a brand new widget for 2026. We go to research and development. You figure it out. But the argument here is CEOs are not going to be able to do that. They have to figure it out and give their companies some sort of marching orders and parameters.
And it's how do you want your company to see the ethics of AI? What is acceptable and unacceptable to your company? And it's not just, oh, let's get 10% more efficient or 20% more efficient. It's what entirely new products and services can we create with the AI. So you need that strategic brain from the leadership, from those C-suite officers, in order to get that work done. And it takes a long time to organize the data, to rethink a whole organization with thousands of workers in it. So if the CEOs aren't putting that legwork in now, it might be too late for them. And their boards are going to come for them. Or the younger workers who say, hang on, I can do that CEO job better than you, they're going to come for the CEOs.
That's so interesting.
Who would have thought that CEO is one of the first job categories at risk because of the AI?
Really? So then what are some of the challenges that CEOs and businesses face when trying to figure out how to use this technology?
Well, one of the big things is how do you organize your data? So it's not clear that when you've built up data over decades, maybe 100 years if you're a really old bank or something like that, that is sitting in paper files, in different electronic formats all over the place. But if you can find ways to tap into that data, you can see patterns, you can understand your customers better than a company that started up yesterday. So the oldest companies can have huge advantages if they figure out how to tap this. But they've got to really invest in that now, and there's trial and error. They might not get it right the first time. But sort of standing on the sidelines is really the worst case scenario if you are trying to get ahead in the business world at the moment, because you can't catch up necessarily with how quickly this technology is moving.
So I had joked with you that I said I was going to take an AI prompting class because I'm trying to think of what are the careers of the future, you know what I mean? But should we all be kind of taking a second look at our resumes and figuring out what it is that we can do and what AI can do that we can already do and, try to figure out how to integrate?
I think so. And not because you should worry that your job is about to disappear. I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of our jobs will change, but very few jobs will disappear. And it might be that there are fewer jobs in some factories, but because AI changes the economics of it all, that there end up being more factories in America. You might have different tasks. If you're in marketing, for example, you're not going to write all that boring copy and the text that you see in the Google ads. But other people have to be out there managing the local influencers, the people that are the trusted voices for a brand in a community. So it can be better and more jobs, but not necessarily the same job as we had previously.
And we got to start thinking about it now. Ryan, thank you so much.